are going over a topic that has risen to the top of the 86, the BRZ news, and that is the blown up BRZ that is owned by Chris Borges, and number 2, the GR86 blown up that is owned by K24 Austin. So if you've been living under a rock, you might not have heard that Chris and Austin hold the highest horsepower 86/BRZ for the 2nd generation platform. How do they do this, you might ask? Well, they did it with the PNL turbo kit. They are running a boosted setup. Austin is running about 604 wheel horsepower. Well, not anymore. And if I remember Chris's build correctly, he was running about the same, close to the 600s. So I reached out to Austin to get a full mod build list. Austin threw some other mods on the car to keep up with the turbo kit. Upgraded fuel system, full 3-inch exhaust, and other mods that I'll throw up on screen. Chris, on the other hand, wasn't running as many mods, performance mods, as Austin, and ended up blowing his motor due to the clutch slipping. I'll throw Chris's mod list up on screen now. So when it comes to Austin blowing up his motor, he shot a rod through the block, and I'll throw that up on screen now.
And that down in there is my crankshaft. That's a big fist size hole in the block. And here's a nice chunk. This is for the case halves. And it got spun around, it looks like.
Austin's motor lasted about 11,000 miles before shooting the rod, and I say that's pretty good for a Subaru, especially for one that's unopened. As you guys know already, Subaru motors are known for their reliability. So for the new BRZ 86 platform, for the F824 to hold that much power for that long is pretty impressive. So I think that's enough of the Chris and Austin story. What I want to get into today is what is next for this platform. What is next for the 86, the BRZ 2nd generation platform? These guys have tested the limitations of the F824. And if you guys have been following, it seems like not that many companies are really diving into this platform as we expected. For example, IAG. IAG has not decided to make a block for this platform. Instead, they decided to do an affordable build. You guys might be asking yourself, well, what's next for this platform? I have this platform. What do I do next? Do I boost it? What do I do to it? Well, let's get into that. So jumping into what's next for this platform, the 86, the BRZ 2nd generation platform. What I want to ask you guys before I go ahead and give my opinion, we already know these motors are finicky to play with, especially when throwing boost at them. However, I do want to say they most definitely could handle a lot more power than the 1st generation and more power than Subis in general. The motor in the VB WRX can also handle a good bit of power. So I do think, Subi motor aside, what Subaru did to the new motors in these cars is a little more stout than the old generations. Right now, we only have 2 guys that have pushed that much power, 600 to the wheels, and that is Austin and Chris. So these 2 guys have tested the limitations of this chassis for us, and we could use that knowledge to be able to maintain these cars on a turbo build. And I think that is most important because they're lightweight cars. They already move fast as heck when you're driving without a turbo. So you guys already know, if you've driven a boosted BRZ 86, whatever, these things, they move, man. They're freaking zippy. So I think Chris's setup was more of a mulligan because he didn't have the clutch setup, he didn't have a proper clutch setup, and he ended up slipping his clutch, which in turn he revved out and he blew the motor. I don't want to discredit Chris because I know he's going back into the F824 build. He's rebuilding it, and that's something I really want to see. However, Austin's build was able to kind of give us a little more information regarding where the limitations are in this chassis. We already know if you're gonna run a boosted setup, you're gonna need injectors, you're gonna need a fuel system, you're gonna need to run E. However, nobody has the money to be the guinea pig when boosting these cars. It's really a risky game when you do know what you're doing, and when you don't, it's even more riskier. So I went ahead and asked Austin what he thought about the F824 platform, and this is what he said. Austin says 450 horsepower is reasonable for these cars. That's definitely one man's opinion. We do definitely need a few more boosted setups to kind of test the limitations of these cars. I don't want to only base the reliability of boosting these cars on 1 to 2 cars. But like I said, it's pretty groundbreaking news that both of them were able to push that much power. Well, Chris not that long, but Austin for that long, 11,000 miles on with 600 to the wheels. It was definitely a no-brainer that it was bound to blow up. It wasn't a matter of if it was gonna blow up, it was a matter of when. I feel like everybody knew that in the community, but it's still nice to see. It was kind of like, it was keeping everybody on their toes of, oh, he's at 7,000, he's at 8,000. He's pushing 600 to the wheels, dude. Unopened block. That is pretty impressive for these cars, for sure. I feel like you guys could agree with me on that one, that is pretty impressive. So I do want to hear from Chris what he thinks on the FA24 platform as well. Maybe a few other guys that have boosted this car, boosted this setup. I really want to hear what they have to say. I do agree 450 might be a little high. Honestly, I'm not too sure. Like I said, I feel like we have to get a few more people kind of pushing the limits of these cars. Maybe sitting around 450 for, let's say, 15 to 20,000 miles, because I feel like 15 to 20 on 450, that's pretty reliable for a Subaru motor. My predictions, I want to say 400 to 420 to the wheels is pretty, it's gonna hold. Just based on 600 to the wheels for 11,000 miles. That's crazy. Now, I do want to make it clear that 8,000 into a BRZ 86 is pretty freaking bananas. 8,000 is a lot of money to put into a turbo kit, to fueling. That's a lot. That's a lot, dude. That's, I mean, if you think about it, you buy a BRZ, buy an 86, that extra maybe 8 to 10,000, I guess, the money to play with. You could probably get a Supra, an A90, and make plenty of power. And I mean, yeah, I mean, that's neither here or there. If you guys, you know, are on the platform, you're on the platform for a reason. You already know that. But I'm just kind of putting it out there. That's something that you guys probably already know, that, you know, you put a little more money in. Instead of boosting the car, you get something, you get basically an A90. But you don't own this car already. If you do own this car, if you own a BRZ 86, if you own one of these cars, you don't own it to own a Supra. You own it because you like this car, dude. You like this car. That's it. And you want, if you're thinking about boosting already, I mean, you're sticking with the chassis. I mean, you like the car. If you're even thinking about boosting the car, you already know that's risky behavior. So I feel like once you have that thought about boosting the car, you got your toes dipped. You got your toes dipped in the pool, and that's it. And now you're gonna get the turbo, you're gonna get the fuel, you're gonna get the injectors, you're gonna get everything. You're gonna get the cooling. So that's who this video is for, dude. The ones who want to boost this chassis, the ones that want to see what kind of reliability this car has, the new FA24 motor, when throwing boost at it. Not only boost, but throwing other mods as well, such as a fuel system. If you guys are going to build this car, you have to learn about it before you boost it, because if you do not know already, Subaru motors are finicky. If you don't have the proper tune, it's going to blow up. With that being said, I'd like to see more guys throw a boost at this car and really put the time and effort to learn about this new FA24 and show those results online. So before I pass the question to you guys, I do want to give a big shout out to anybody else that has boosted their car, boosted this platform. I will drop their name right here. So big shout outs to them for testing the limits of these cars, really kind of putting their wallet on the line. Like I said earlier in the video, I want to say not many companies have really shown too much crazy support on these cars in comparison to the Gen 1 BRZ, even the A90 Supra. So that's something, you know, I just kind of want to put out there. These guys kind of taking risks in building these cars will show companies that there is a big platform for these cars. All right, guys, so I do want to pass the question to you guys. What do you think about the FA24 platform? Do you think it's going to hold that much power? Do you think it's going to hold the 450 that Austin was saying? Do you agree with me? At 400, maybe 420. I'm kind of fence riding. I'm going to say 410. I'll meet right in the middle. Do you think even 350? Let me know in the comment section down below. How much power do you think the FA24 motor is going to hold reliably? And do you guys think that more companies are gonna support this car? Because like I said, we haven't seen too many kind of motor related things in terms of this car actually building the motor. And to me, that's a little concerning. So like I said, that's why I'm making this video today, to bring a little spotlight to this car, to this chassis, to this platform, especially when it comes to guys like Austin and Chris that have spent the Subi money and built these cars. So to wrap up today's video, we do have plans for this car. If you guys know already, if you have watched previous videos, you kind of have an idea, you kind of have a clue, but I just want to leave it at that. We do have plans for this car, so I'll have to wait and see. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to give me a like down below. Really goes a long way. And while you're down there, you can consider subscribing. That shows me you guys like what I'm doing here, and I can do more. And I want to give a shout out to today's video sponsor, Hachi Electronics. He is, if you guys do not know already, the supreme BRZ man, the 8.6 master of electronics. So go check him out in the description down below. He is the hookup for electronics when it comes to this platform. Use code Jules in the description down below. And while you're down there, you can catch me on all other socials, everywhere, anywhere, and all the where. Julian Telesco, Instagram, TikTok, all that fun stuff. Peace. Peace. One more. Peace.